Okay, in this video, we're going to be talking about why Dustin Poirier is going to sleep Islam Makhachev. But before we get into that, really quick channel update this week, including this weekend during the fight night that is happening in St. Louis. There aren't going to be any live streams. There might be one very late on Saturday night US time after the fight night, but it's a super busy week for me, so we're not going to have any time to do any live streams. I'm sorry, but next week should be back to normal. Okay. Now, that we've got that out of the way, let's get right into this. We're going to cover the reasons why I believe that Dustin Poirier is going to sleep Islam Makhachev at UFC 302. From Dustin Poirier's motivation, to Islam's recent training videos, to the dreaded Paulo Costa curse, let's get right into it. Firstly, let's start off with Islam Makhachev himself, okay? He's released brand new sparring footage of him down at the gym. Check it out. Looks pretty good on the hands, doesn't he? Not bad at all. But here's what's going to happen going into this fight and why I think Dustin is going to sleep Islam. Makhachev is going into this fight after a fresh knockout of Alexander Volkanovski. Hurts me to still admit it to this day, but he did sleep Alexander Volkanovski. Alexander Volkanovski was coming off a horrible weight cut, and he is a lot shorter than Dustin Poirier. Now, why am I bringing this up? Because it's going to help build Islam Makhachev's confidence when it comes to the stand-up game. And this is very important into my theory of why Islam is going to get slept by Dustin. With Islam having such an elevated confidence level on the hands, he's got that on top of his first fight with Alexander Volkanovski. Now, in his first fight with Alexander Volkanovski, everyone walked away from that fight talking about how they were surprised at how well Islam did on the feet going toe-to-toe with Volk. With Volk having just come off absolutely piecing up Holloway and Ortega and the Zombie, Volk looked like an absolute world beater on the feet. And Islam Makhachev went in there in their first fight, stood toe-to-toe with him, and ended up winning quite a few of the exchanges on the feet. He did super well at that. So you've already got this inflated sense of, not ego, but you've got this inflated sense of confidence coming from Team Makhachev. On top of that as well, the Dagestanis have been training relentlessly at AKA American Kickboxing. This has been going on forever and a day. Pretty much ever since the team transitioned over with Khabib, all the way back in like 2016, 18, something like that. It's been going on for quite a while. But since then, they have been developing their stand-up game, and they get away with quite a lot of sloppy, messy striking because their takedown game is so dominant. With their takedown game being so dominant and their opponent never knowing when they're going to go and shoot a takedown, it leaves their opponent with their hands low. It leaves their opponent constantly dropping their hands a little bit, waiting to get in their underhooks so they can sprawl. And it gives them a lot of success with the striking up top because they're constantly dropping their hands down, worried about when this takedown is going to come. Super, super effective, but it doesn't make for the cleanest striking in the world. So, you have got this team that has been working on their striking for a very long time that is now starting to get this feedback from the community that they are dominant strikers as well as wrestlers. And that feedback was all culminating in the Alexander Volkanovski knockout. But the Alexander Volkanovski knockout might not be as clean and as dominant is striking from Team Khabib and Team Makhachev as it was Alexander Volkanovski was a shorter guy that had just come off 11 days on the couch and a horrific weight cut. He dropped something like 10 kilos or he dropped an incredible amount of weight in 11 days, and that does affect the fluid that goes in around your head. I'm not trying to take anything away from Makhachev. It was a phenomenal knockout, but there were reasons that led to the knockout. Reasons that aren't going to be there when he steps in there with Dustin Poirier. Dustin Poirier has faced this team before. He knows exactly what to expect knows where to be confident and where not to be confident. He will not be coming off short notice at all. He will be coming off a proper training camp, knowing that this fight is going to happen. On top of that, right, you've got Dustin Poirier, who has been very open about where he is in his career. He knows that this is his last shot. He's been quoted as saying this is his mum's spaghetti moment. He's also bringing his daughter to the fights. This is the first time she's ever sat in the front row for one of his fights. He wants her to see him win this. Dustin's gone out and said this is the last time he's ever going to be fighting for a belt, bringing his daughter out there. He's putting everything on this, and he knows exactly what he needs to do to win it. I am sure he has been staying up at night, constantly thinking about that Khabib fight, constantly thinking about that Oliveira fight. He knows exactly what went wrong in the past, and to him, he is going to be bringing in that There's a garbage truck outside the door right now. There's a garbage truck right outside the door. Jesus Christ. Fuck it, we're rolling. To him, he is going to be bringing in that Renato Moicano mindset of, I cannot afford to lose, brother. Moicano cannot afford to lose. That is where he is going to be coming at with this fight. He's putting absolutely everything onto it. Then, on top of that, there is the dreaded Paulo Costa curse. I had no idea about this until someone in the live stream mentioned it in the comment section, and then I went ahead and actually saw more of it online and Twitter. Every single pay-per-view that Paulo Costa has been on, the champion has lost their belt, right? This is worse than the Drake curse. This curse is worse than the UFC video game cover curse. This might be one of the worst curses we have in MMA. Zero chance of Paulo Costa ever winning himself a belt. There's less of a chance than what Sean Strickland had, than what Dricus du Plessis had. There's less of a chance than what Michael Bisping had back in the day. Paulo Costa has got less of a chance than anyone's ever had of winning himself a belt. But he is an undeniable force when it comes to contenders winning a brand new UFC title. And the UFC, the MMA gods, have been good enough to bless us with a Paulo Costa fight at UFC 302. So, packaging it all up together, you have got Islam Makhachev coming in as the most confident striker he has ever been, backed by a team that have always wanted to prove themselves as hardcore strikers ever since Khabib went and stood with Al Iaquinta and Conor McGregor. You've got Islam Makhachev relentlessly training just the striking. You've got Dustin Poirier being one of the most savage strikers at lightweight, bringing his family to the fight, knowing that this is it, his last chance at ever winning UFC glory. And then on top of that, you have got, it's like they're in here with me. And then on top of that, you have got Paulo Costa rocking up to make sure that Dustin Poirier walks home with the belt. If I was a gambling man, I'd be betting my entire mortgage, my entire house, take this week's rent. Dustin Poirier is going to sleep Islam Makhachev at UFC 302 and absolutely shock the world. Go ahead and let me know down there in the comments, how do you see Dustin Poirier sleeping Islam Makhachev? Jab, jab, head kick, clean uppercut as Islam goes for the takedown? You let me know down there in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead, hit that subscribe button, and of course, I'll see you all in the next one.